understand everything you say, and I agree completely. And when you look at what China's doing, they beat the COVID-19 without recourse to vaccines. They didn't have one shot in the arm, and they turned it around in two months. I mean, unbelievable. When you look at the response anywhere else in the world, right? And that's because of their system of governance and the solidarity of their people, and their commitment to one another. Something that you just don't see in hardly anywhere else. Maybe in a couple of other countries like Cuba or Vietnam or whatnot, also socialist countries. And then the economy is on the upswing. The factories are humming, the consumers are spending. That's one thing. The other thing is the poverty alleviation program, which is unbelievable. I've been watching this series on YouTube. It's from CGTN, China Global Television Network, called Up and Out of Poverty. It's an 8-part series, and you really got to watch it. And it's just amazing. They've been using this policy of targeted poverty alleviation.
Yes.
And, they go in and they take an inventory. They go house to house, find every person who's, living below the poverty line, for that, community. And then they interview them. They find out what their problems are, what they need, to overcome those problems. And then they allocate resources. They refurbish their homes, if necessary, relocate entire communities, so that they can have access to, health care, education, transportation. It's just an amazing, amazing accomplishment. And that could be directly applied to our country. When you think of, the Native American, the Navajo, and, I read these stories about how the Navajo are being decimated by the pandemic, and they talk about, families, and they don't have access to water or electricity. They don't have access to the internet, and how can that be? I mean, it's unbelievable when I see what they do in China, the most remote, ethnic communities. These are ethnic minorities now who are the left behind because they're in the most remote, inaccessible regions of the country. And they go in there, and they send in cotters, and they send in, people to, string up 5G internet, cables and electrical and water diversion projects, so that no one's left behind, and there's so many left behind in this country. So you have the poverty alleviation, you have the response to the pandemic, and then of course infrastructure, the bridges and the high-speed rail and the superhighways that crisscross China now. Every rural community now, there's a paved road to every rural community in China.